Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this day. It is, well, the calm before the storm. I'll tell you about that in just a moment. Today on our show, we have to have Dr. John Hovannisian for Harvard Eye Associates, and he's going to be talking about a cataract lens implant. Is this a new one?
It's a new one.
All right, a new one. That's, you know, the technology and eye care is just, it's like every year it doubles, just like the tech industry in general. It's amazing how that's gone along. We also have a couple guests from the Alignment Health Plan. You know, you got, what, 3 days left, I think, if you want to change your plans and for Medicare, and they can help you with that. They're going to go over that. Also, we're going to bring you a segment from Hearing Well Club, and Leslie is here today, Leslie Coretti, with the Professionals Club, and I hear she has brought along someone very familiar that you will recognize coming along with her as a guest. Now, as far as meetings go today, GRF has their regular board meeting that's at 9:30 that follows us if you're watching us in the morning, or if you're watching us in the evening, we replay that at 6 o'clock. And then the third has their finance committee, and that will be at 1:30 today. Now, let's get to the weather and this impending storm system that is coming in. As I said, today's the calm before the storm. We got some sunshine out there, but we're going to see increasing clouds as we get to the late afternoon, early evening. And this storm system could come in now as early for us after midnight. In fact, it could reach North LA and Ventura County by about 11 o'clock. Probably by the time we start seeing a few little sprinkles, I'm thinking more like 2 o'clock in the morning. But that's earlier. Yesterday I told you we probably wouldn't see it till about 8 in the morning, but it's going to come in earlier than that. And it will last. This is a long one. All day on and off Wednesday, all day on and off Thursday, and then maybe early Friday. When I say early Friday, I'm talking about probably by 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, it'll pretty much be out of here. Now, about the amount of rain should be what we had last week. The difference is last week it all happened over about 24 hours. This time it's going to happen over 48 hours or more, which is good. It's better news for the areas that hold all the wildfires. They want this slow and steady. So it should be maybe 1.5 inches, 2 inches of rain. Around Orange County today, you know, pretty mild temperatures right now. Big Bear though, 47 going down to 22. They're looking at beginning overnight tonight all the way through overnight Thursday into Friday snow over the next few days. So those mountain resorts up there, the ski resorts, could be getting, you know, 7, 8, 9 inches of snow, which is great news for them. Palm Springs, look at that, only 68 degrees, so they're cold out there. So do expect a decent amount of rain. Again, more than likely we'll start to see it here overnight tonight, and then throughout the day on Wednesday and Thursday, and then maybe spilling over to very early Friday. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
Confidence in your retirement future, you can live the life you've always imagined. Because of planning, you now have time to reflect on the wonderful memories of your life. You and your spouse finally have the luxury of leisure time together. To spend fun times with your grandkids, sharing the joy of their excitement about life. Smiling at the thought of quality time with your children and of picking up the check. At last, you have time to breathe and rekindle the love of your life. Why? Because you imagined what could be. You planned for retirement. So today, you own your future.
Hi, it's Desiree from Irvine Subaru, where families come first. As a family-ran dealership, your family's safety is our #1 priority. Come in and find the perfect Subaru from the largest selection of Subarus in Orange County. All models are top safety picks by the Insurance Institute of Highway Safety. We offer the ideal balance of safety, performance, and economy. Irvine Subaru. More Subarus, more safety, more performance, more love.
Individual care, specialized care. At Harvard Eye Associates, your vision and quality of life can be trusted to a group of specialists that provide advanced technology for the treatment of cataracts, including laser-assisted surgery, a broad range of intraocular lenses, and astigmatism correction. Come join the circle of care at Harvard Eye Associates, where the future of vision is today.
Well, I'd like to welcome with me right now Dr. John Hovannisian with Harvard Eye Associates. It's always good to see you. We've been saying it. We said earlier you've been coming on the show for maybe 10 years.
It's like 20 years
wow.
since I started in the area.
Welcome,
it's almost 20 years. It's so great to see you too. Happy holidays.
Happy
Your
holidays.
set looks terrific.
We are, and you know, the holiday season comes around, and vision is always important, of course. But around this time of the year, why we don't have the hot dryness of the summer, we do have people who you know, go out and go skiing and things like that. I know we're going to talk about the cataract implant, but that's just as important, that people use eye protection. I haven't skied in a long time, but I have skied on days when it's bright and sunny and it's reflecting off. It's worse than being at the beach on a sunny day.
It's much worse, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's constant and it's everywhere, and the snow just reflects, like a mirror reflects the UV in all directions, and you sense it's bright, but you don't sense the intensity of it like you do at the beach. And so, you know, snow blindness or UV, what we call keratitis, injury to the eye, is really common among skiers, way more than among people going to the beach.
Wow. Yeah, that's
just because of those factors.
And I think years ago, it was, to me anyway, the ski industry that really came along with protective UV protection long before the average pair of sunglasses. I mean, I remember Belay and all those brands, and going back in the late 70s, early 80s, they were ahead of the game.
Oh, they were, and they've got great technology. You know, we still have not come up with a great pair of sunglasses that can be worn by surfers. You know, here in Orange County, surfing is so popular, and there are some that are goggles designed for them.
Ski ones with the little slits on.
Yeah, right. And you know, nobody really wears them because they haven't found one that stays on and doesn't impair vision. And surfers are, you know, particular about that, understandably. And yet they suffer some of the worst UV damage with growths on the eye. We've talked about pterygiums and other things. But so if you're going to ski, if you're going to be outside in the weather, wear your sunglasses.
There's a market for you right there. Shark Tank, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we have them all.
So cataracts. Every year we seem, as I kind of alluded to when I was giving the opening to the show, technology just advances and advances and advances. Not only the lens, but the way you implant the lens as well. It's incredible.
Oh, in my career, we've just seen a complete change in the way we do cataract surgery. Now we have automation with lasers that actually soften the lens and make the openings in the eye to make everything easy. It's about a 5-minute procedure. Most people have no pain, and most people are probably going to go through cataract surgery at some point in their life. Most people probably listening today have friends who've been through it and hopefully have had positive experiences. It's rare to have, you know, serious side effects or complications, but of course they can happen too. But in every lens implant we do today, in every cataract surgery, we use a lens implant to replace the basic focusing power of the eye, because you're taking something out, you have to put something in. But what's happened and is most exciting in the last 15 years is the incredible technology that's come to these lens implants. Instead of kind of approximating what your vision should be and then wearing glasses to fine tune, now we can fine tune right inside the eye, and people can see without glasses. They can see far and they can see near, and do both without glasses.
And here's one that we have. Is this a new one? And it's, you know, I'm looking at it and I see this orange apparatus behind it. That's something I have not seen before. I don't know what that is, the housing for the lens or whatever. I know you'll let me know, but I haven't seen that before. I recognize the other one.
Yeah, the color definitely catches your eye with we call them haptics, H-A-P-T-I-C. Haptics, traditional lens implants like the one on the left have very simple haptics. Some of the newer design lenses have a little more elaborate haptics because they allow positioning and even movement in some cases of the optic. Of course, the optic is the part that focuses, and that's the part in the center in both left and right here. And the design of some of the newer implants, like the one on the right here, which is not yet commercially available. It's part of an FDA study. We are now recruiting patients for that study. But it allows a range of vision. And the haptics, the orange part, is what positions it in the eye so that it can focus and give people, hopefully, the ability to have greater depth of focus than any implant we've had before.
That's incredible. So you're kind of getting, you're getting something that you really need, but you're also getting the benefit of corrective lens surgery.
Yeah, it's like blending together what LASIK does and what cataract surgery does. So our eyes focus just like a camera, and when you're looking at something far away like street signs, that's one focus. When you're looking at your phone or newspaper, that's a different focus, and that's why as we get older, we start to need reading glasses or bifocals to see both ranges. And it's common and they're effective, but as we say, 70 is the new 50, and people want are living active lives and skiing and doing other things as they get older. So when they go through cataract surgery, understandably, they want to minimize their need for glasses. And that's what these implants allow.
Let me ask you two questions. One is, if people had LASIK surgery, does that create some complications? And the second question is, once you get these in, how long do they last? In other words, let's say you get them in, people might get them in as early in their mid-60s. Are they going to last 30 years?
So great questions. First, once cataract surgery is done, nothing tends to change in the eye for the rest of somebody's life. So we have the opportunity to set vision forever. Whatever implant you get at the time of cataract surgery is going to determine your vision with virtually no change the rest of your life. So that's a real positive thing.
It is.
And to your other question, how long do these implants last? They're going to outlast all of us. And your other question
the LASIK,
was,
if somebody had, I know my sister, who's younger than me, had cataract surgery not long ago.
LASIK surgery?
But no, she had LASIK 15 years ago, and then earlier this year, cataracts. And she had a more complications because of the LASIK that was done 15 years ago.
As a rule, previous LASIK or other surgery does not complicate cataract surgery. What it can do is cause us to need additional measurements to refine the focus. Because it changes. The eye is altered. That makes it a little harder to measure the exact focus of the eye after it's had surgery and then healed and then has surgery again. But that in no way stops us from using all of today's modern technology for people who've had previous LASIK.
Okay, along those lines, what about somebody who's a little bit older? I buy the $15 things, but they're a hassle, let's face it. I'm going to be 62 in March. Now, irregardless of cost or the time it takes or whatever, should I get LASIK? And I know it's just, and what I'm referring to is, but maybe 10 years from now, I'm going to need cataract surgery. Do I wait? Do I just deal with glasses until then? Or is it just a matter of choice?
There's some choice involved, as usual, but a good exam of the eye will determine how close you are to needing cataract surgery. And if you're getting closer to needing cataract surgery, and usually in our early 60s we're approaching that point, that's when we might say, let's do a lens-based procedure instead of treating and doing LASIK. So like cataract surgery is what we typically do, because as you asked a moment ago, that gives you a solution for the rest of your life, as opposed to going through LASIK today and then 5 or 10 years from now going through cataract surgery. So it's a very individualized kind of decision based upon a number of things, but sometimes one or the other.
Do you see a time, since there's so much advance in this cataract surgery, where this is used in replacement of LASIK?
In other words, for younger and younger eyes. That is already happening. And for people with certain prescriptions, you are better to have a lens-based cataract-like procedure, an implant, than LASIK surgery. And that range is expanding so that one day maybe we will be doing most people with lens implants instead of LASIK.
Wow, that's amazing.
Still a ways in the future.
Again, it's just, you say it's just a ways, but I've known Dr. Hovannisian long enough that he has said that many times about things, and 2-3 years later, it's like, well, we're now in the steady phase. And 5 years later, it's like, we got it. So it's just, the advancements are amazing.
It's been exciting, and it's continuing to be. And we're right here in Orange County, which is the Silicon Valley of eye care.
Yeah.
So we couldn't be closer to where the most exciting advances are happening in our field.
All right, thank you so much.
Great to see you.
I appreciate it. Happy
Thank
holidays to you, everyone over
as well.
at Harvard Eye.
Thanks.
They got just a fantastic group of people over there. They really do. And I've said this before. I said this to John earlier, that all the people that have come on that I've had the pleasure to meet and talk to are personable. They're wonderful. And that tells you how it's going to be if you go over there and you need their
We have a
services.
terrific staff as well. All our doctors, we love to treat our patients like family and have a little fun with them and take good care of them, first of all, always.
Yeah, great. Good to see you.
Happy holidays.
Take care. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Brian Rott, President and CEO of Cartmart here in Laguna Woods. My family's been in the golf cart business since 1959, and we win our customers over with the simple belief of we treat you right. We are proud to be the authorized dealer for Club Car here in Orange County and your go-to source for the sales and service to other major brands. We're conveniently located on El Toro Road, just minutes from Laguna Woods. So come by and see for yourself, while when doing business with Cartmart, there's no reason to go anywhere else.
Hello, Laguna Woods. My name is Rick Bradford, and I am the pastor of Saddleback Church of Laguna Woods. I would like to invite you to join your friends and neighbors right here in Clubhouse 5 every Sunday as we worship, as we enjoy a free breakfast, and as we learn from our pastor, Rick Warren, the author of the best-selling book, The Purpose-Driven Life. Please be assured that you will be warmly welcomed at either our 9 or 11 a.m. service. I look forward to meeting you personally.
Through my window, I see the first sunlight, and I feel the warm ocean breeze. I see the waves that lulled me all night. That's what my window brings me.
Look at this.
That view is $1 million.
It's amazing. We can look at these kinds of places within our budget.
You don't have a bad view from here anywhere you look.
It's all about the view. Sunday night is beach night. Sunday night at 8, only on HGTV.
Do you need Halloween, Thanksgiving, or Christmas cards? Diane's Hallmark has them all. From a wide selection of gifts as well as Hallmark Christmas ornaments, let Diane's Hallmark help you celebrate these special seasons. We also carry Vera Wang Bradley handbags and jewelry. And don't forget, we carry Bibles, Christian books, and gifts as well. Come in today and experience our personalized service. Diane's Hallmark is located in the Walmart Shopping Center next to Hobby Lobby.
Once I came to Alignment, things changed.
Here, they take time with you, and if there's any question, they answers it.
It's a good place to go because those people there care about you.
They are a compassionate group. It's almost like you come into a second home.
Welcome back. Well, with me today from Alignment Health Plan, you only got a few days left, we'll get into that in just a moment, is Christina Simons and Dr. Arda Bakshande. I'd like to welcome both. This is their third time on,
yes,
I believe,
yes.
And the time is shortening, isn't
yes,
it?
It is.
So welcome to both of you.
Thank you so much
Great
for
to see you both
again.
today.
Thank you.
And let's first of all talk about, because I like to, if people haven't seen you on before, Alignment Health Plan, just in general, Doctor.
So we're a Medicare Advantage plan, which means that we only take care of Medicare beneficiaries. And our model of care was really built around the senior population. When we started this journey about 4.5 years ago, I wanted to do something a lot different. I don't want to be the traditional Medicare plan that just says, okay, well, go on and do whatever, and we'll pay claims, and we wanted to be very proactive. I think I've said this before, is that we call healthcare when we should call it sick care. And
you're right.
Right?
Yes.
And what we're really trying to promote is healthcare. So we've built a technology platform, allows us to not only see the medications patients are taking, their lab results, things like that, so that we can make intelligent decisions on their care, be proactive, and really encompass what a health plan should be, provide them with chronic care and in-home care. So we've started a new line to our offering, where we actually go into the home when patients need us to come in, especially if you have difficulties getting to and from the doctor, and also transportation, so that patients can come in and see their doctor if they're not able to drive or don't have a car. So we don't want to create barriers to care, really want to be able to get to the senior when they need us the most, so almost like you have a doctor in the family.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes you guys kind of special, because there's a lot of health plans out there, and everybody's got to choose what is right for them. But Christina, one of the things I recall the first time you were on, you talked about was that in-home care that you folks offer.
Absolutely. One of the things I want to mention is, by no means does Alignment Health Plan replace the doctor-patient relationship. We actually have a contract with Monarch.
Yes,
so
that's right.
The good news,
Monarch,
exactly. So the great news is that if you have Medicare, you see a doctor with Monarch, most likely you will be able to have a very close look at Alignment Health Plan and what we have to offer. So what makes us very unique and different is Dr. B mentioned that I call him Dr. B for short.
Makes it easy on everybody.
It does make it easier. But in addition to our very unique model of care, we have very rich benefit offerings as well. So we were talking about the annual election period.
Yeah.
I can't believe that it's coming to an end.
It used to be, some people may recall, it used to go to a little bit later in December many years ago.
That is correct.
There was actually an extra week on each end, and they shortened it,
They did shorten it. So the annual election period is from October 15th through December 7th. So until Friday at midnight is technically the formality of when it closes. The good news, though, is that Medicare is actually bringing back an opportunity for Medicare eligibles to make a one-time switch to a like plan. And that opportunity would be given to them in either January, February, or March. So it's not too late. People can still go ahead and shop around a little bit. In addition to that, Alignment Health Plan offers a variety of different types of products. So depending on a different type of condition, they'll have a special election period to also make an election. So people with diabetes or a heart condition, as well as those folks that may have low income subsidy, they may actually make an election throughout the year as well.
Okay, and I recall, you mentioned Monarch. I recall several years ago, Monarch talking about that when that first came out, heart disease and diabetes, the special kind of wraparound coverage, which makes it a lot easier for those people who have that. Doctor, let me ask you something that I know is very important when people are looking for the different plans out there, is if they are taking several medications. Now, some people may be just starting out, they don't take anything. And so, but they still have to look, then they look at the plans a little differently.
Right.
But people have to kind of go over, well, I'm taking this and this and this, is it covered in the formulary? That's where it gets confusing for folks.
It really does, and I think the advice that I give my family, my parents are Medicare beneficiaries, my two grandmothers who are, God bless it, 97 years old apiece, are beneficiaries as well. And the advice that I give everybody is, call the plan that you're interested in, go through your medications and ask, is this covered, is this not covered? But also look at the benefits, because ultimately, I think that when you look at what benefits you need, having a health plan that's really going to provide those for you, and anticipating your needs. We don't always think we need it now, but we might need it later. And having those benefits that allow us to kind of get the care that we really deserve and need is the most important. And looking and speaking to any health plans, it's very simple to do. You call their number, talk to an agent, and they will go through and actually be able to tell you this medication is covered, this one's not covered. And we've spent a lot of time myself with our pharmacy directors to really look at what is the population at large really take to try and create a benefit plan that would benefit the larger masses of the population.
Yeah. Now, Krista, do you offer a couple through Alignment Health Plan? Do you have different plans available, or one main one, like
absolutely,
what somebody might call an HMO or PPO, or that sort of thing?
So what's pretty exciting as well is Alignment has very high rankings on Medicare.gov. So if you go to this third-party CMS-approved website, you'll actually see of multiple different health plan options. You'll see Alignment is very highly ranked, and it's not because we start with the letter A, but in addition to that, depending on, I know it is a little funny.
It isn't.
I know, because we worked very hard to get there, improving our star rating, et cetera, which is so important. And one of the reasons why is that the more money we get back from Medicare, the more we can expand our programs, not only with the delivery of care model, but also with our programs. So one of the things we're rolling out next year is we do have a black card. And it's a on-demand personalized care. It's for our seniors. It doesn't replace their member ID card, but it actually allows them to have 24/7 access to a live representative to help them navigate through their benefits. So if they have questions about their transportation, or if they're just discharged from the hospital and they need meals brought to their home, or over the counter, they can use this like a credit card at select pharmacies.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes, and 24/7 access to a doctor next year. So we'll be rolling that out as well.
That'll be very nice. Yeah, again, your plan offers a lot, and I'm glad you have different ones that, and even with the different ones you have, people are going to have questions, which is the right one for me, and that's that's important because there could be a little differences like in the hospital cares and your out of pocket and those kinds of things. So,
and what's nice here
it's different for everyone.
Yeah, it is. And what's nice here is with us being partnered with Monarch and the hospitals that are in the area. You're not losing the hospitals that the population here is using today.
Yeah.
Those are all in our network.
Yeah. Krista, again, explain if people miss this deadline.
Okay.
And you said that they could still change their plan if it's kind of similar. Am I right?
Yes.
So please explain that, because I think that's very important.
So if they're currently on a Medicare Advantage plan today, and they missed an opportunity to shop around during the annual election period, either January, February, or March, they'll have a one-time election to switch to a like plan. So a Medicare Advantage plan to a Medicare Advantage plan. In addition to that, Alignment Health Plan offers chronic special needs plans. So if somebody's been diagnosed with either diabetes or a heart condition, they too may be able to have an opportunity to enroll throughout the year, as well as folks on low income.
Okay, so that's good to know. So if somebody's on what I call straight Medicare right now, and you want an Advantage plan, then your days are numbered.
Correct.
But if you are an Advantage plan with somebody else or whatever it may be, and oh man, I can't get it going until then, you got an opportunity to do that.
Absolutely.
Okay, very good. The website is alignmenthealthplan.com, and you can go there and get information. The number's on the screen: 1-888-979-2247. And they can help you out, good people, and maybe we'll see you again as we get to the open enrollment. And because by the way, if you are turned 65 in March or April or something, you can go. You don't have to wait all the way till October.
Correct.
So you got a chance whenever you turn that age to get onto a plan.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Good to see you, Doctor.
Good to see you so much. Thank you so much, Ken. Always a pleasure.
Thank you. Good to see you. We'll be right back.
#1 choice for wood flooring and more is LA Carpet.
Now during their 2-day sale, visit their showroom now and get 65% off wood flooring, laminate, and waterproof flooring.
Plus, get 5-year, 0% financing.
LA Carpet, #1 for you.
Well, Tony Berrien is with me today. Of course, she's with the Hearing Well Club, and We're going to talk about, well, a few things today, but primarily how the club and in general, they work to create awareness, reduce the stigma of hearing loss, and most importantly, reduce the isolation. Am I right?
Exactly, exactly. Yes, hearing loss just creeps up on people. But today I really wanted to make a point of, there's a lot of people who don't come to the Hearing Well Club. Maybe they don't know about it or they've heard about it. And I try to stop people in the grocery store and invite them to come. And a lot of people say, well, I've got my hearing aids, I'm fine, I just whatever. And, but we do so much more, that people do feel the stigma. People don't talk about hearing loss. And so that does cause them to isolate. When they come to a Hearing Well Club meeting, they see everybody with hearing aids on, they start talking about it, and a little of the stigma is reduced. And the more that they can talk about it, then the more they can ask family members to help them with the communication. You know, like if you're in a room and music is playing, ask them to turn down the music so you could hear a little bit better, because that music sort of covers up the voice, the sound, the understanding. Also ask people to speak a little slower. So when you realize what really contributes to successful communication, then you can ask others to help you. So, because people with hearing loss need a little help.
And quite often, it may be a situation where it's just partial hearing loss. It's not real severe. However, in certain situations, like when there's a group of people or you're out somewhere, out in a restaurant or just walking around, you're not picking up all the conversation.
Exactly.
And so there you feel a little isolated. And
only,
people may not pick up on that because you're like, the person might be going, oh yeah, that's right. And
yeah. Well, what happens in situations like that often is that other people are aware of your hearing loss because you're not answering appropriately. You didn't hear the question. You don't understand what the conversation is, and it's embarrassing. And when that happens more than once, that person has a tendency to isolate, not go out, and they don't know what to do. They don't know how to talk about hearing loss. They're really lost. And so what we want to do is to help them with some tips for listening. And also, too, you need to be aware that hearing loss is often connected to cognitive aging issues. But hearing loss is affected and contributes to poor communication. Another thing that happens a lot of times to people with hearing loss is you ask for a repeat, and they'll say, oh, never mind. Whoa, that's smart. I want to be part of what's going on. I didn't understand you, so I'm asking for a repeat, and you're saying, never mind. That hurts. So, you know, if you feel hurt enough times, you're going to isolate. And so when people say that to me, oh, I really wanted to know. I'm sorry. It wasn't that I'm not paying attention. It's just I have a hearing loss. So. And sometimes that opens up a conversation, and then there's more understanding.
And so part of your club helps with that. Helps people
it's just
kind of re-engage, saying, don't be shy about saying, I didn't understand that.
Well, before they even get to that point, they have to recognize that the problem they have is common, it's not unusual. The first hearing loss support group that I went to back in 1998, I was so relieved to get a sense that what was happening to me was just the hearing loss. I'm not stupid. I'm not, unintelligent. It was strictly my hearing loss. And that helped me a lot. And then I got very involved in hearing loss support because that was so profound for me to have that experience. And so now I'm trying to help others.
Now, you folks meet usually once a month, plus you...
Once a month. We're not having a meeting in August, so I'm not talking about that so much. But we did have one, I had a few volunteers go with me to the Sedgwickstrom Theater, and we tested out a new assistive technology thing. So It's a little rocky, but
Yeah.
you know, it's just brand new. It's called Gala Pro, and you have to bring a smartphone, and you connect to the Wi-Fi and the app on the smartphone, and you can read the captions.
Interesting.
In your life, but the screen is dark.
Yeah.
So you're not really disturbing other people.
Okay, I was going to ask that.
Yeah, yeah. So the screen is dark, and the type is either red or it's white.
Okay.
And it was just an interesting experience.
Yeah, I would think it might be. I know some theaters have captions, but I would think that for me, having a phone down here and trying to watch the action and trying to read, you might end up holding the phone up. Like, I don't. That's just.
Well,
what did you find with that?
Yeah. Well, I know I missed a lot of stuff on stage because I was reading.
Yeah.
And so having the captions, like at the Sedgestrom, there's a LED box that, and they have performances once a month. It's a matinee that are captioned. I'm going to be meeting with the Laguna Beach Playhouse tomorrow and talk to them about their assistive devices. And they just started a program. They got funding to have once a month to have a captioned play.
Okay.
So I'm going to learn more about that, and so I can talk to our members and get them out and enjoy life.
All right.
Not sit at home.
No, not sit at home at all. Now, of course, people can go to the website hearingwellclub.com.
Perfect.
Find out all kinds of information, your events coming up. And again, in August, there won't be a meeting, but continuing
in September,
on. September,
yes. September, I think it's the 11th. It's the second Tuesday of the month. Come a little bit early, 1:45, and get a cup of coffee and a cookie, and visit with your fellow hearing loss members. And because that is a lot of value in that.
Yeah.
Talking to other people with the same problem, and then you go, oh yeah, that happened to me too. And it just seems to just take the edge off of all that irritation, shame, stigma.
And you cover many topics, and
we do.
Traveling.
So,
traveling, I think, would be a very big one.
Probably the biggest thing, the first thing people notice is they need an amplified phone. Talking on the phone is difficult. You don't have the benefit of lip reading and body language and all of that. So that is a real problem. So California provides free phones for people been verified hearing loss. So we talk about that. Choosing the right cell phone. Some are better than others. Some of them are rated for people with hearing loss. So I talk about that.
Oh, very good. Okay.
And television is a problem, so we talk about captioning and listening. There are many devices that are available to bring the sound closer. And so those are basic things. And then probably my #1 program that I do once a year is the Consumer's Guide to Purchasing Hearing Aids. You know, people faced with buying hearing aids, they just don't realize what they don't know. They don't know what they don't know. And so we help them to understand their own situation and questions to ask so that they're actually part of the process rather than just kind of like going in like sheep and just accepting whatever is given. They have some expectations. And so it's very helpful for them to take that.
All right, and you should, according to our schedule, you'll probably be back before your next meeting in September, I would think.
I will. I'll come back the first Tuesday.
And
so
we'll
I'll let everybody know what our September meeting is all about.
Very good. Always good.
We are going to be talking about the surgical solutions for hearing loss.
All right. Very good. Always good to see you, Tony.
Yeah.
Take care.
Thanks.
Thank you for all you do, and we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Wendy Miller, your Laguna Woods real estate professional. Have you been looking for a realtor?
Wendy Miller helped me through the challenging process of real estate here in Laguna Woods. She was helpful, she was fun, she was professional. I really recommend her.
Whether you're thinking of buying, selling, downsizing, or even relocating within Laguna Woods, I am your real estate professional and can help guide you through the entire process. Give me a call and I'll help you make the right move. Welcome back.
Leslie Coretti is here with the Laguna Woods Professionals Club, and her guest today is Shirley Witt, who you all know from the Senior Services Center. Well, welcome. Nice to see you both.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So obviously it's Christmas time, and you guys are going to have a bazaar.
Yes, it is Christmas, and we're having our annual Meals on Wheels benefit.
Okay.
And so we are so excited about what is going on. Oh my God. We already have not a whole truckload, but many, many boxes of things that have already been donated.
Okay.
That we have been picking up during the month to put on the Meals on Wheels table. And so we're actually looking for people to bring any nice item that can be regifted, whether it be a beautiful sweater with a Christmas tree on it, or a Christmas decoration, a piece of jewelry, anything that they think that someone else may really like, but maybe they don't exactly need it or want to keep it anymore.
Okay. So tell me how that would work. So you have a table set up.
We have several tables.
Okay, so I was going to say, one table is not going to hold all the items, right?
No. We have 4 to 5 tables, 8-foot tables, full of treasures.
And then you'll be reselling those treasures at the bazaar, right?
At the bazaar.
And all the monies raised will go to the
Meals on Wheels.
Okay.
Yes.
All
and
right.
they can also make cash donations if they want as well.
Okay, so are you the only table there, or are there other people there?
No, there are other people there as well. So we have some Laguna Woods crafters that will be there as well. We will have a luncheon for $6.
Okay.
And it'll be teriyaki chicken, fried rice, and salad and fruit.
Okay.
And we have many other surprises of things that are going to happen on that day.
Okay.
So it's going to be, I mean, we'll have everything to rest your body, to feed you, to excite you.
Wow, well, it sounds like a lot of fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
So everybody knows you, obviously, from
Thank you.
Age Well. Tell
you.
me how this benefits you guys.
Well, first of all, thank you so much, the Professionals Club, for doing this each year. Meals on Wheels, as everybody knows, is a special program, and we're just so proud that you have Meals on Wheels as the recipients. We serve over 3,000 meals a month to our local seniors. And sometimes people don't understand that we take care of, it's not necessarily a long-term program, but like if someone's in the hospital and they come home and they need some respite for 2 or 3 weeks, they've gotten a knee replacement or a hip replacement till they're back on their feet. That's what Meals on Wheels helps with also. Okay. So we're, as everybody knows, Age Well is a charity, nonprofit organization, so we thank everybody for their kind donations and thinking of us this year, but especially the Professionals Club who do this every year, and we thank you. Meals on Wheels, it's growing. The program is growing, and so we need your help, and we thank everybody who thinks of us. But we're saving lives. We're doing something wonderful in the community, and we have fabulous volunteers who do it from their heart.
Right.
And if anybody has any time on their hands, a couple hours a week, let us know, because we can always use your help. Our program is growing and growing and growing.
So you're saying it's growing from the standpoint of need?
Growing in the standpoint of need.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
There's a lot of homebound seniors for whatever reason, and so we're there to feed them and to help them. And along with the volunteers, when we go into their homes, we're not just dropping off a meal, we're checking on them.
Okay.
And when we see that there's a problem or the recipient is not the same as what they normally are, the volunteers are trained to call back to the office. Our managers step up. We have a case manager. So we have a whole back force of people who are step up and help. Okay. A lot of times we'll deliver Meals on Wheels on a Friday morning, and we don't go back till Monday morning. And sometimes the volunteers have found somebody that has fallen on Friday or Saturday. They've been on the floor for 2 or 3 days.
Oh, no.
And,
oh my God.
Many times that we've heard from the doctors that if it wasn't for our Meals on Wheels volunteers and from Age Well, we would have lost that person. So we're the link to the outside.
Okay.
So we do more than just serve a meal. We're the link to the outside.
Okay.
So we appreciate what the professionals are doing, and we appreciate the donations, especially this time of year, to keep our our company and our organization going so that we can continue to serve the seniors of this community.
Well, thank you for doing all of that, because
Thank
that's really
you.
an important thing. Tell me about the Laguna Woods Professionals Club. What is it?
Well, it's just a group of people that live here in the village, and some of them have, you know, like myself, been in the professional world, and now we're retired. And so we try to use our skills and things that we have learned from either being a teacher or a realtor or a nurse. You know, talking with people, meeting people. We have most of them participate with the Wellness in the Woods as well.
Okay.
And so we have doctors that come. We have our grand Taste of Laguna Woods every year.
Okay.
You know, which is a feast. You know, just to get people together, because we want to socialize, but we want to socialize in a way that people are actually speaking and talking to each other.
Okay.
And so it's not just about party music. You know, it's
it's not.
No, it's not just. It's not just.
Wait a minute.
We've done that. We've done that too. We've done that too.
Yes, you have.
We've done that too. But we're really trying to get into more conversation with people.
Well, what I like about that is you are able to talk about, you know, your profession, which you probably haven't been doing for some time. So now people can learn more about you. You can talk about the skills and how things have changed over the years.
Oh, definitely.
Right? I mean, especially if you were a nurse or a doctor. Wow, have things changed?
Yes,
That's a long conversation.
Yeah, yeah.
We don't even want to go there.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, well, let's talk real quick again about the shopping therapy experience, as you call it.
Yes.
It'll be on December 8th, which is Saturday. Clubhouse 7 from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Right.
And it's free entrance for all people, and then, you know, come ready to spend some money, because Age Well Senior Services is the beneficiary. And if they have any questions or need information, they can email you at lesliecoretti@yahoo.com or call you at 209-8846.
Right, that's right.
Okay.
And if they come and they want to have just lunch, or if they want to just, you know, try one of our surprises, you know, for relaxation.
Okay.
They can do that as well.
We're going to keep that a secret. Because,
yeah, we're going to keep that a secret.
It sounds very interesting.
And they can also just, you know, make cash donations, which a lot of people did last year, which we really appreciated.
Perfect. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you very much for being here with us, and thank you. Nice to see you. All right, remember that is on December 8th, and that will be the Christmas Bazaar and shopping therapy with surprises. We'll be right back after this.
Hey Laguna Woods, it's Ken.
And Lisa.
Did you miss an episode of This Day? Not to worry. Head over to youtube.com and search Village Television.
Here you can find each episode of This Day and other community programs such as Good Day OC, Discovering Laguna Woods, and much more.
Just click the red subscribe button, then click the bell to be emailed every time we upload a video.
Don't miss out.
And subscribe today.
When other dealers say no, Capistrano Toyota says,
yes, we can.
Low payments? Yes, we can. Low financing for all types of credit? Yes, we can. Capistrano Toyota features 10 acres of new and certified pre-owned Toyotas, plus many used cars priced below $10,000. When other dealers say no, Capistrano Toyota says,
yes, we can.
Exit the 5 freeway at Camino Capistrano.
Looking for a change of scenery? You don't have to play golf to enjoy all that 19 Restaurant and Lounge has to offer. From our delicious breakfast menu to our delectable lunch and dinner specials. At 19 Restaurant and Lounge, there is something for everyone. Relax with your friends and family and take in the beautiful view from our spacious patio. Or enjoy a cocktail and appetizer in our lounge. 19 Restaurant and Lounge is a great place to socialize, enjoy a meal, or simply take in the view. Join us 7 days a week and experience Laguna Woods' exclusive dining experience.
May know Age Well for delivering life-saving Meals on Wheels to homebound seniors. But did you know they keep seniors active and engaged at 10 modern centers? Serve nutritious congregate meals amid friendly surroundings. transport seniors safely to and from appointments, and provide much-needed equipment and other essential services. Now, this vital nonprofit organization needs your support to sustain its mission. This is Age Well Senior Services. Won't you make it yours?
As a professional licensed realtor, you have worked countless hours to ensure your reputation is the best. Your clients know they can trust your judgment, that you'll be around when they need you, and that you will deliver what you promise. In escrow, one company has set that same standard for excellence. Escrow Options Group offers more than just outstanding escrow services. White glove concierge services, wire and fraud protection, custom estimates, and more at no extra charge. Choose the company that mirrors your professionalism. Escrow Options Group. Experience a better option of escrow services.
All right, well, we've got some great movies this Friday and Monday. And the first one is I Kill Giants on Friday at 2 and 7 p.m. And it's kind of a drama, fantasy thriller all in one. Barbara Thorson struggles through life by escaping into a fantasy life of magic and monsters. 12-year-old Barbara flees from reality, living in the imaginary world of fantasy and magic where she fights with giants. Her family does not understand her, peers do not like her, and she irritates teachers. And only recently moved here, Sophia, her same age, trying to make friends with her. It stars Madison Wolfe, Zoe Saldana, and Imogen Poots. So that looks like a very interesting one. That'll be on Friday, December 7th at 2 and 7 p.m. Then we have, oh yeah, it's The Rock, and he is in Skyscraper. And that's on Monday, December 10th, and that's 2 and 6 p.m. And he plays a security expert who infiltrates a burning skyscraper 225 stories above ground, when of course, guess what? His family is trapped inside by criminals. I think they always do that with his movies. FBI hostage rescue team leader and U.S. war veteran Will Sawyer now assesses security for skyscrapers. On assignment in Hong Kong, he finds the tallest, safest building in the world suddenly ablaze, and he's been framed for it. A wanted man on the run, Will must find those responsible, clear his name, and somehow rescue his family who are trapped inside the building above the fire line. And none other than Dwayne Johnson, we have Nev Campbell, and Shin Chin Han. So looks like a very exciting and action-packed thriller. And that again will be on Monday, December 10th at 2 and 6 p.m. And then we've got some great holiday activities coming up. We have 'Tis the Season, a celebration of the holiday spirit, and that will be at the Performing Arts Center on Sunday, December 16th at 2 p.m. And this is put on by the Old Pros, a celebration of the holiday spirit, a sing-along, tapping your feet with the multimedia festival of lights, music, poems, readings, poetry, and more. And the Woods Combo Jazz Quartet will be playing music. And tickets are on sale at the Performing Arts Center. Reserved seating is $7 and $10. And then we have a holiday buffet, and that'll be on Tuesday, December 25th at 1 p.m., and that's in Clubhouse 5. Menu has delicious items, prime rib, potatoes, rolls, assorted desserts, carrots, chicken cordon bleu, all sorts of great stuff. And they do say you're welcome to bring your own wine, and then Clubhouse 5 will provide the glasses. Tickets are adults $25, kids ages 6 to 10 are $12.50, and children under 5 are free. And the tickets do go on sale this Thursday, and you can purchase them at the Clubhouse 5 office. If you want any additional information, you can always call 949-597-4382, or you can email recreation@vmsinc.org. One other thing is, of course, New Year's Eve is coming. We have 2 events going on. We have Rockin' New Year's Eve on Monday, December 31st, Clubhouse 5 at 6:30 p.m. And doors open at 6:30, and at 7:15 the music starts. And this is more of a traditional New Year's Eve party with dancing to very fun, Soulicious Motown tribute band. And of course, the ball drops at 9 and midnight. So that looks like a lot of fun. Tickets are also available at Clubhouse 5. Again, if you want any additional information, you can contact recreation@vmsinc.org. And then we have a performance on December 31st, which is Sing in the New Year with James Darren with the Dave Seibels Band, and that's going to be at the Performing Arts Center. And then you can get tickets. They've already started, so I would go ahead and hurry up and get this because sometimes it does sell out. 3 p.m. show is $20 to $25. 7 p.m. show is $30 to $40. And then in addition, if you want VIP access, that's $20. And that looks like a lot of fun. So if you want any additional information on that, you can go to recreation@vmsinc.org. So they have their hands full with lots and lots of activities. Let's go ahead and take a look at our weather. Boy, I can't believe it. Today is such a gorgeous day. Is rain really going to come? It's just crazy. Surprised that it's going to be raining starting, I think Ken said, on Tuesday. We're going to be getting some cool weather, 59, 52, then rainy on Thursday, 62, 49. Friday, mostly cloudy and 20% early AM, 66, 48. And then Saturday, we are back to mostly sunny with mild temperatures of 67, 48. And then around town, it's going to be chilly. San Diego 70, beaches 67. Big Bear 47, 22. There was some snow on the mountains, so looking pretty good for skiing. Palm Springs 68, 46. So we do have our rain coming in overnight. And then who's coming on tomorrow? We have the GRF meeting report. We have the College District. We have the Senior Center. And then we have the Old Pros. And remember, right after our show today, starting at 9:30, we will have the GRF meeting. So you guys have a great day in the village, and we'll see you tomorrow.